Hello and welcome to Culture Vultures. Now, our guest today represents the growing number of UK-based British Nigerian creatives. Actor and director Femi Oyeniran will be here for a chat. Before we catch up with Femi, Tricia Wombell and Natalie McLeod have joined us with book and theatre reviews. Now, let's start off with books first. How are we, ladies?
I'm very well, thank you very much. So good.
So, Tricia, what have you been reading of late?
I want to talk about Teju Cole's Every Day's for the Thief. It's coming out shortly. Originally published in 2007 by a Abuja, Nigerian publisher, but it's been taken up in the UK and the US, so those editions are coming out, and I'm really sort of delighted that so many people are going to have the chance to read it you know, here in the UK. Teju Cole is just this amazing writer. Just recently he did a whole story on Twitter. He got a range of his friends to tweet a line at a time, and it was a short story. So he's just really talented.
But did the friends know what the storyline would have been?
No, if you followed that person, you would just have heard this kind of random tweet.
Yes.
But actually when you saw them all together on his Twitter line, then you got the story all together.
That's a good marketing strategy if you want to sell anything, actually. That's fantastic.
Yeah. He really is superb on Twitter, but the main thing is that he's an absolutely brilliant writer.
Yes.
This is his first book. It's called Every Day's for the Thief, which is a Nigerian proverb, which is about the fact that sometimes there's always people on the make. Yes. There's always somebody got to have their little bit of a share. But the storyline, the plot is, well, in fact, it's not so much a plot, it's more a kind of a meditation of someone returning to Lagos after 15 years away and sort of considering what life is like and observing what life is like there. I kind of think of it as a bit of a kind of a TripAdvisor, a travel guide to Lagos. The good and the bad is in there. Yes. But he loves it. It's where his family is. But it's a frustrating place to be because of what life is like. There's the generators not working, so there's always noise and sound, and then he's sort of walking through the city and just taking it in, but observing with the eye of someone who really understands it. And often, you know, I don't know that Lagos is on many people's travel tours, although I think having read this, I hope people will think, yes, I do want to go and see this amazing city, 21 million people. You know, Africa is on the map of the wider world as a rising economy. And I think it's really important that Nigerian writers say what it's like, what the place is like, and why it's important to them and what it means to them. And that's why I think this book is important. His second book, which was published a couple of years ago, was called Open City, and it's actually a similar kind of thing, but based in New York. Okay. So he's walking, which is where he's based, where he lives now, and he's walking through New York, and a lot of people felt that was amazing. He got amazing reviews.
See the theme here. TripAdvisor for Lagos, TripAdvisor for New York. Okay.
Yeah.
So Teju Cole, thank you so much for that. Every Day is for the Thief. And the next review?
The next review I'm doing is John L. Williams' biography of Eartha Kitt. It's called America's Mistress.
Oh, yes.
Interesting picture.
Yeah, it's amazing. And interestingly, I think maybe, I don't know how old you are, but you probably remember her. She was this kind of famous singer.
Yes.
And
I might be too young.
I think you are too young. But there's never been a biography of her before, but actually she was one of the actresses, she was also an actress and a singer, who actually kind of broke through and was able to do amazing parts. And the reason it's called America's Mistress is because she was, as a black performer, she was sold to Middle America as this singer, and people kind of desired her, you know, this kind of whole sexual element into it. Yeah. But I think the way John Williams writes is that he tells the kind of social and economic, I mean, he really goes back and researches her history more than she even knew. So, for example, she's mixed race. She didn't know who her father was. She barely knew her mother.
She died?
Yeah, she did. She barely knew who her father was. Yes. Her mother left her at 8 because her mother went off with someone else, and the other partner didn't want Eartha. Right. And she ended up, you know, she never really knew her family background, and basically, but somebody paid for her to go to New York. Wow. And so there's the premise from John L. Williams is that actually it was from the white family the father who realised she was being mistreated by other relatives and gave her an opportunity for a better life. And then from there, she ended up going to drama school, and in the really early days of kind of performing, and she just made a life for herself.
And did she ever look for her father?
Not.
Does the book go into that at all?
No, not especially. She just wanted to make a better life for herself, and she wanted to perform, and she was active. I mean, she was politically active as well. I mean, there's the book kind of describes how she ended up upsetting Lyndon Johnson's wife at a dinner, and she made the president's wife cry, and so and because of that she was kind of, you know, about the Vietnam War. She was sort of saying, this is wrong, you know, you're sending our sons to be killed.
Oh my gosh.
And she made this woman cry, and with that she couldn't work, and that's one of the reasons she was in Europe for a long time. And there's all these kind of famous songs that she has done, and you know, and she set this kind of setting for, you know, other performers to come along. And I think when we look at people like Beyonce and Rihanna and we see the profile that they have, then actually there were other singers who came before them and probably maybe had a tougher time of making a life for themselves.
America's Mistress sounds like a good read. Thank you so much for that, Tricia. I think so. So from book to theatre. Hey, Natalie.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. So what's going on in Theatreland?
Right, I'll be talking about Warhorse. It's showing at the New London Theatre, and it is...
Michael Morpurgo.
Yes.
My daughter says he
Michael
always kills
Morpurgo.
the protagonist.
Yeah, and he's very well known for children's novels.
Yes.
So it is very the fantasy aspect of it, like visually. Now it's I've got pros and cons with this because it's about the First World War. It's about this young boy called Albert. He has this horse called Joey, and it's his companion. And Joey goes out and gets captured, and he goes out as a cavalry horse. And then Albert goes out looking for his horse, but he's too young to enlist to the war, but he goes out anyway into the battlefields. And visually, it's fantastic. You have these puppet horses that are performed on stage, and it's just amazing to look at visually. The performance-wise, I just found it sometimes a little bit boring. It was a little bit long-winded, some of the scenes, and even some of my friends that have seen it, they're like, are you crazy? It was really, really good. But I don't know, I just thought it could have been, I really look at dramatic acting from individual actors and performances because of my background and because I'm an actress myself and I direct. So I look at that sort of aspect of it. But I would say go and check it out for the puppetry techniques itself. It's really amazing to look at.
Boring because the dialogue is too dull, or
and it's got
there is no dialogue, or what is it?
It's repetitive as well. It's got the repetitive dialogue. They say a lot. You're only remembered for what you have done. That's like throughout the whole production, and it's to do with the war.
And that's the message they want us to take away.
And that's what they want to take away.
So
but
they're pumping it into.
I just thought, just shut up, please. I've already heard you before. But a little bit disappointed with the performance, but visually, it's amazing.
And it's been going on for a while now.
It's been going on for a long time. So it's in high demand and people do like it, and it is amazing to look at. Like there's one scene when they go into the battlefields and they've got these two large horses on stage, and there's actually people that are on the horses and they are galloping into war, and it looks so amazing to look at. You're like, wow, the dynamics on stage is really, really good.
So how was the audience? Was the audience really engaged in it? Were they
audience were engaged, the audience were engaged.
Everybody but Natalie.
I nearly fell asleep.
Really?
Yeah, there was one scene. It was too long-winded. It was basically they were in a village and they were all talking amongst each other, and I just found it so boring.
Okay. So just tell us again where Warhorse is.
It's shown at the New London Theatre, so get your tickets.
Okay. If you want big puppets.
If you want the puppetry.
Okay. And your next theatre review?
My next feature review is Avenue Q. This is showing at the moment. This is a very well-known West End production, but it's showing at the Whitley Bay Playhouse, and that's in Manchester. It was showing at Shaftesbury Avenue before, and that's where I went to see it. And it is hilarious. It's
More puppets.
It's more puppets. Basically, it's a parody of Sesame Street.
Yes.
So, but it's an adult version of Sesame Street. So you've got all the taboo subjects that they talk about, all the anxieties that adults go through, and they don't really talk about, and they present it with these puppets on stage, and. It's so amazing how they operate the puppets, because the puppeteers are on stage with them, but you kind of forget the puppeteers are on stage, and they move around, the same facial expressions, same movements. They look like the puppets as well. And lyrics and music is done by Robert Lopez and Karl Marx, and it's just amazing how they do the music and lyrics. It's just so funny. If you're easily offended, I'll say don't go and watch it, because you will get offended.
Oh, really?
But you need to have a sense of humour to watch this production. It's just so colourful, and it's just so funny. You've got Miss Piggy, she's a bit promiscuous. You've got the Cookie Monster.
I'm surprised she's not there. I just assumed I was going to say
You got
Kermit.
that's like you know the one with the orange hair.
Yes.
He's like a version of Elmo.
Right, okay.
And yeah, he's more of the gay character in this production. But yeah, it's so cleverly done. It's excellent.
Yeah, for the
Excellent.
posters, I would have thought they will have Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
You know what?
Straight away,
Yeah,
so
it's
they
hard
say you
to
can
find
recognise
photos
it.
of Kermit. It wasn't Kermit the Frog. Wasn't actually there. Actually, funny enough, it was just Miss Piggy.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Very promiscuous. There was a scene. I'm not even gonna. If you're gonna go and watch it, I don't want to spoil it.
Don't even spoil it.
But
Don't even
just
go
go and check
there.
out for yourself.
But you're saying that it's now in Manchester.
It's in Manchester and it's shown throughout the year.
Right.
But this should be coming back in the West End. I'm sure it will, because it's in high demand at the moment.
Yeah.
I checked the website and they said they are going to come back soon, but they're having a break, because last year they actually was in the West End, so they're having a bit of a break this year. So
Okay.
they should
Just
be back
remind
next
us of the
year in
title
West End. Avenue Q.
Okay, super. Thank you so much, ladies. Oh, wow. Still to come on Culture Vultures, the representation of youth culture is very dear to his heart. I look forward to welcoming British-Nigerian actor and director Femi Oyeniran. He'll be right here after the break. See you then.